Hi class! Have a wonderful day. We hope that you are doing great because at this moment we are going to present or discuss the module 3 and the topic is all about non-digital and digital skills in tools in delivering technology enhanced lessons. And it consists of two major lessons. First, development and use of non-digital and digital or conventional and instructional materials. Lesson 2. Select and use ICT tools for teaching and learning. So first and foremost, before we officially start this discussion, we would like to open up this quote. Performance doesn't deny. Precisely, good instruction can lead into great outcomes. Objectives. At the end of these lessons, students should be able to evaluate the instructional materials in classroom setting, enumerate the rules and factors in teaching and learning, describe the non-digital and digital technology tools in classroom setting, demonstrate and explain their output creatively. This is the lesson 1. Development and use of non-digital and digital or conventional and instructional materials. So here are the difficult of terms that we gathered during the provisions towards the data gathering of the accurate data. May I call on Ms. Bongbonga and Ms. Aragoncillo to discuss and enlighten us about these difficult of terms.
Thank you, Mr. Hardin. Good morning, sir, and also to the class. Before I start, let me introduce myself. I am Miss Erica May S. Bongbonga, and I am the one who will discuss the first set of difficult terms. First is dealt, to take action with regard to someone or something. Second, delineate, to portray in words, describe, or outline with precision. Third, diorama, a model representing a scene with three-dimensional figures, either in miniature or large-scale museum exhibit. Fourth is flannel, a soft medium weight cotton fabric that has a napped or fuzzy finish on one or both sides. Fifth is legibility, means capable of reading or writing or print can be read easily. The second set of difficult terms will be discussed by Ms. Aragoncillo.
Good morning again, everyone, and to you, sir, good morning. By the way, I am Christine B. Aragoncillo, the next reporter. I am the one who will continue discussing the difficult of terms that the first slide was being discussed of Ms. Bongbonga. So let's proceed. 6 bullet, mundane, lacking interest or excitement, dull. Another term of mundane is that it is boring, typical, or ordinary, unproductive, and yet necessary siya. For example, sa mundane task, like you are doing a household chores or you are working in an office, so para makuha nang ihang ka boring, so maminaw ba karon og music para ang mundane niya nga task ma-turn into a pleasure. So ang usasad, machines can free us from the burden of many mundane tasks. So next bullet, norms are the behavioral expectation or rules of the class. So most commonly dyan siya defined as rules or expectation that are socially enforced. So norms may be prescriptive or proscriptive. When we say prescriptive, it, for example, be honest. It is encouraging positive behavior, while proscriptive, for example, do not cheat. So mao ni siya ang nag-discourage sa negative behavior. Then sa social norms, for example, like naakay kastorya nga kanang person baron, so you have to make an eye-to-eye contact sa imuhang kastorya. Then, for like as an example, like when you meet someone, so you should have to make a shake hands. Okay, yeah, panang bago biyang na-meet nimo, so mao na siya social norms. So, next is parcel. Parcel, something is part and parcel of something else. For example, buying an item Like, ma-order ba karon sa Shopee, then katong item nimo before na nila i-deliver or i-ship, ila sa na i-wrap, bundle, or i-package. So, mao na siya gitawag nga parcel. So, next bullet, retention, the act of continuing to possess, control, or hold moisture retention. From the word retention, retain or retaining. Pagpapanatili kung sa Tagalog pa. For example, let's say that the herb promotes memory retention. So, ang herb kuno makatabang nga to hold, nga stay intact yapon na to ang memory na hapon. So next bullet is time allocation. Is the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific activities. So same man ni siya og time management. For example, gitagaan ka og activities sa imong isa ka instructor, then same sad sa other instructor nimo. Then naasad kay drawing uno, naasad pasad kay buhaton nga household chores. Then ang imuha is to organize it. So, diri nimo ma-apply ang time allocation, like kung saan nimo pag-handle or pag-divide imong oras kanus ka magbuhat sa activities baron nagipabuhat o sa drawingonon sad nimo, maybe after na ba nimo ron panglimpyo. So, mao na siya gitawag nga time allocation.
Teaching becomes rewarding when learners get the most from instruction as manifested in their performances. An important element in engaging learner is when the strategy used in delivering the lesson uses an instructional material. When properly and appropriately used, it can spice up a classroom activity. So sure that it's more unpleasurable if the way we deliver the discussion is meet what we want for, and for the same time, learners can be cope up of what we are looking for them, right? What is instructional materials? Instructional materials are those materials used by a teacher to simplify their teaching. They include both visual and audiovisual aids and could either be concrete or non concrete. These instructional materials bring life to learner by stimulating students to learn. There's a lot of instructional materials. It might have a varied form. Well, in a non-digital or conventional ways, in a normal classroom, we will always need a chalkboard or a writing board that may come in varied forms and shapes. Most of the instructional materials are bulletin boards, flip chart, dioramas, puppets, terrarium, and the like. So, we'll always find their significance in any classroom. However, as we go along with this topic, we will be able to know it all. So, instructional materials have several rules in teaching and learning, which includes the following. First, they promote meaningful communication and effective learning. By the use of instructional materials, our discussion effectively demonstrate where our learners can view clearly what is stated, which they can connect of what is the topic. However, the situation is meaningful. Second, they ensure the better retention, thus making learning more permanent. The third one, they help overcome the limited classroom by making the inaccessible to accessible. As being part of our job, by utilizing the instructional materials, we tend to overcome the challenges inside the classroom. At that moment, our skills of being resourceful to find solution is manifested. It's either tangible or non-tangible. They provide a common experience upon which a lit learner can be developed, and they encourage participation, especially if students are allowed to manipulate materials used. Brown et al. 2005. So, in this integral part, teachers must provide examples where common experience previously. They gave special attention to those students who are late learner, and also not just by discussing everything, but also we encourage our learners to be active in any participation in school. And in the suggested rules are the concept of a viewing and a jury. So, as one of the characteristic or teaching strategies in which the teachers have, they're trying to perceive themselves na in every discussion, while they're discussing, they're looking forward if their learners can able to connect, somewhat like they feel energized and excitement to have fun in learning. Well, inasmuch, we need to exert some efforts in a certain things. And we need to figure out also the student capability. So being adaptable. So that to make teaching bring into excitement, basically teachers need instructional materials to integrate their ways of teaching. So instructional materials are also defined as print and non-print items that are listed to impact information to students in the educational process. If Young and Ejeri, 2015. So example of instructional materials are drawings, kits, textbooks, poster, newspaper, flip chart, magazine, diorama, recording videos, and the like. So if you are confused of what I've been talking, um, don't you feel worried because later on we can encounter all of these materials or instructions, right? The primary aim of teaching materials is to provide the teachers the layout of the way for teaching in the classroom. It is important to understand how to develop instructional materials. Instructional materials refer to any pre-existing materials that are being incorporated as well as to those that will be specifically developed for the objectives, right? So there are also several factors to consider in developing instructional materials. So first, develop a storyboard and working outline based on the subject goals and objectives. It address of our goal in teaching. Like for example, we are delivering or discussing about a certain article. So to make it effective and not consume in time, you would try to frame the outline for you to develop or expand it. So second, identify existing institutional resources, including materials, teachers' capability. So as what I've said lately, um, our being skillful, innovative, and resourceful to those limited things to utilize it inside the classroom. The third one, the teachers may research of the shelf materials that have been developed by others to determine if their approach could be useful. So when we talk about research, no, though there's a lot of research methodology, but in non-digital ways, we are free to ask to those teachers who are already experts of what are the shelf materials wherein could be useful and tested already. So the fourth one, explore the possibility of adapting concept of other teachers without infringing anyone's copy protected design. So do not try to extortionate the work of others teachers, because sometimes if we own the work of others without their permission, if we adopt something, we just copyright right away, all, right? So please avoid that one. That is extremely unethical. And you, as a teacher, uh, it can be addressed to your reputation. So, what we are going to do if you try to adapt work of others, maybe you explore it, okay? So the fifth one, modify existing materials based on the objective of the lesson. So see to it that your instructional materials are always used in all subject without any uh, different style. So you can feel something bored or annoying. So every time you try to make changes of your instructional materials, try to modify or change it to make it new for you, which are suited to objectives of your lesson. Okay? So if the instructional materials are effective, you can share with other teachers. So do not be as selfish of what you have, right? So the teachers be developer can also sell her his or his materials available.